Did your parents know that you were talking to Father Dad?
No clue.
No clue. So when did you tell them that you were discerning the priesthood?
Gosh, I think it was around Mother's Day. So around this time of the year is when I told them. I want to say I probably told them around June, but a friend of mine recently told me it was around Mother's Day.
Was this before or after talking to Father Dad?
Way after. By this point, I had everything lined up. My autobiography was done back in November, kind of thing. Like I had done everything already.
Okay, so
I was already accepted, actually.
Oh wow!
I was already
taking all the steps. You went through all the tests and everything. And what was their reaction? Are you the only child?
No, I'm not, but that might as well happen. My siblings and I are about 8 to 10 years apart.
Okay.
So in some ways, I was the only one that they were looking at, kind of thing.
Okay. So they were all born here in the United States?
No, just one of them, the youngest one.
Okay.
Joseph, yeah. So Sergio and I, my older brother, myself, we were born in Mexico.
Okay.
And so how they reacted was my mom just kind of felt like she was losing a child. Like I was just going to leave. Also, again, this is the same mentality of like, if you're going to leave the house, it's because you're going to get married and then you leave. It's not just to do, but even to go to school, she was kind of like, about it. She was uneasy. I remember asking her, I said, I'm moving to seminary. I'm going to be at the school. They're going to have laundry machines. I need you to please help me. How do I do laundry? And give me the basics. What do I separate? What's the logic behind it? How much do I use detergent-wise? Per load. And she said, oh, mijo, don't worry about it. You know, you can always just pile that clothes and just bring it back home and then I'll do it for you. and I know now, looking back at that conversation, it was her way of saying, I want you to have some reason to come home. Which I would anyway, but you know, it was also her way of securing that. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to figure that out on my own, how to do laundry.
Now, we talked to Father Houston Okonma. He said that one of the reasons why his parents had difficulty with his deciding to go into the priesthood is there is a cultural thing. Was that similar to you? Is it part of the culture, or was it just the way your family thought?
I think it was more the way my family thought. I mean, some facet of the culture part could be there too, because this is just the way they saw it. But even in many ways, when I tell people this part of the story, they're like, but they're Hispanic. Like, they would want this. They would want their kid to be a priest. Like, how can this be? And I said, I know, but that's just not the way. It wasn't ingrained in them, and maybe they didn't grow up with it. They had a different vision of what a priest was. Maybe someone who was unattractive, someone who just was, you know, I guess, not capable of being married. Therefore, this was his career option.
Oh, okay.
So seeing it as a vocation was mind-blowing for them.
Yes.
And for me too.
Now, when you decided to become a priest and you told your family, did they tell you not to do it? Similar to Father Houston?
I guess my parents weren't that blunt or weren't that bold. They were just, my dad was very disappointed, and my mom was just like, well, you know, and in many ways, they both just kind of said the same things, but very differently expressed. They pretty much said, you've been good. As you've been a great kid. We love you. You didn't give us any trouble. You know, we didn't have to run down to the school, to the principal's office to do any disciplinary things, or go down to the courthouse as my other cousins would have done. So they said, thank you for that. And we are willing to let you go and do this thing. Again, it was one of those things where I think, unless I was getting married, then that would make sense. And this was a bit of a shock. It felt too early for them to process, I think.
How about your older brother? What did he say?
I don't remember, but honestly, I don't know if he was like approving or not. I think he was in the same boat with my parents, just to kind of give it a supportive, as a support to them. But yeah, I don't think he was very happy about that either. And my younger brother didn't really know enough to really care.
Do you have any sisters or just brothers?
So it's my older brother, and then I did have a sister, but then I didn't meet her, so she died after a year.
Oh, okay.
She died like in the crib or something. So it was one of those things where she was asleep, and she died in her sleep.
Oh, okay.
And then it took my mom a while to get over that.
That probably factored into how her wanting to hold on to you, because she'd already lost a child. You know, the reason why I asked about your siblings is because, you know, maybe if you were the only child, then that's, you know, it would
make sense.
It would, yeah. Or that if you were the only son, you know, they'd want somebody to pass on the family name, but you have two brothers. So it's very interesting. But I understand now that you mentioned that your mom lost a child. Yeah.
And the oldest one, Sergio, he soon after he got married, he had 2 kids. So I have a niece and a nephew, right? Once my niece came in the picture, because it was first my nephew, and then my niece came in the picture. Her world was just...
It's all about the grandkids.
And it's all about her. It's all about the girl that she didn't have.
Oh, yes. The girl she didn't have. Like, this is like kind of like a surrogate type.
And in that sense, she kind of let go of me more. She was like, do whatever you want. I mean, she didn't say any of this, right?
Were you were already in the seminary?
Oh, yeah. I was well in.
Okay. Did they eventually completely warm up your whole family to that?
Well, I can tell you that. So I did college seminary for 4 years, right? And my mom didn't go drop me off at the beginning. It was just my dad and my brother who dropped me off with all my stuff.
Wow.
In Dallas. She refused to go. She was busy, you know? But she went to go pick me up when I told her I was just turning out and that I was graduating. So she was like, of course I'll go. So she went to that. And then, however, when I left for 3 years and when I came back and I entered at St. Mary's Seminary, she actually did come.